The moment that video surfaced, the internet didn't just whisper. It detonated. 1 second, everything about Ashlee Jeanee looked like a picture-perfect fairy tale. Luxury trips, diamond rings flashing under candlelight, private jets slicing through midnight skies, and the next second, that fairy tale cracked wide open like glass under pressure. Because behind the smiles, behind the carefully filtered posts, behind the captions dripping with love emojis and promises of forever, something darker had been lurking the entire time. And the deeper people started digging into the past of her fiancé, Joe McCann, the more terrifying the picture became. Not rumors, not gossip, screenshots, voice notes, deleted posts resurrected from digital graves. Entire threads of conversations that were never meant to be seen suddenly resurfacing like ghosts demanding attention. At first, fans thought it was just jealousy trolls trying to tear down a power couple living too loud and too fast. But then came the first leak. And that's when everything spiraled into chaos. A private message allegedly sent years before he met Ashlee suddenly went viral overnight. The message didn't sound romantic. It didn't sound professional. It sounded cold, calculated, almost threatening. Within minutes, hashtags began exploding across social media. Thousands of users were reposting the same chilling line over and over again, asking the same haunting question. How did nobody notice this before? Then came the second bombshell. An audio recording, grainy but unmistakable, that fans claimed captured Joe arguing with someone off camera. The voice was sharp, impatient, furious. Glass clattered in the background. A door slammed so hard it echoed through the clip like thunder. And the final
every single narrative failed for Bitcoin. And I got caught up in that. I think a lot of fund managers got caught up in that. And a lot of just retail investors got caught up in that. And the narratives that had worked prior to Bitcoin just flat out is 2025 for Bitcoin. So I look at it like this asset and the asset class is now mature enough where I don't want to say it's boring, but the narratives that pushed the price of Bitcoin previously just don't work.
And the final words in that recording sent shockwaves across every platform. You don't know what I'm capable of. That was the moment everything changed. Suddenly, old photos didn't look romantic anymore. They looked staged. Lavish vacations didn't look dreamy. They looked distracting. And every smile Ashlee posted began to feel like a mask hiding something none of us were supposed to see. But here's where things turned from shocking to downright terrifying. Because just as the internet was drowning in speculation, someone claiming to be a former insider dropped a thread so explosive, so detailed, and so disturbing that even longtime followers of Ashlee froze in disbelief. According to this anonymous source, Joe's past wasn't just messy, it was dangerous. Failed business deals, explosive arguments, relationships that ended without explanation, entire chapters of his life that seemed to vanish overnight, leaving behind nothing but whispers and digital BREADCRUMBS. And the most chilling part, some of those breadcrumbs pointed to incidents that had never been publicly connected to him. Until now, within hours, fan accounts turned into digital detectives. Old interviews were rewatched frame by frame. Archived tweets.
You're a black person dealing with somebody in the dominant society, and you get to arguing with them. You're dealing with a system. See, your white partner knows exactly what they represent. They know they got a system to back them up, a system that is on code with them. So in a domestic dispute, they will weaponize their racial privilege. They know the authorities and the justice system is designed to protect them and criminalize you and give them a pass. So you put yourself right in the belly of the beast. Don't think these people don't know that. With the white tea men and the white women too. All the white women know this too. They know it. You do not be confused.
5 tweets were uncovered from years back. People started noticing patterns, repeated behavior, suspicious timelines, sudden disappearances of people who once appeared close to him. It felt less like celebrity gossip, and more like watching a mystery unravel in real time. Meanwhile, Ashlee's social media went eerily quiet. No new posts, no captions, no smiling selfies, just silence, the kind of silence that makes your stomach twist because you know something is wrong, even if nobody has said it out loud yet. And then, just when it seemed like the chaos couldn't get any worse, another leak surfaced. This time, it wasn't a message. It wasn't a recording. It was a document, and what was written inside it threatened to destroy everything we thought we knew about the man standing beside Ashlee Jeanee and expose a past so dark, so explosive, that even the most loyal fans weren't ready for what came next. The document didn't just sit quietly on the internet. It exploded like a grenade thrown into a crowded room. Within minutes of surfacing, screenshots were spreading faster than anyone could contain them. People weren't just sharing it, they were dissecting every line, zooming into every blurred corner, circling dates, names, and signatures that looked way too real to be fake. And at the center of it all was the same name everyone had been whispering about. The man standing beside Ashlee. The man who once looked untouchable, now suddenly looking exposed. The first page of that document reportedly listed an old business complaint tied to Joe's early financial ventures, something most followers had never even heard about. It referenced a partnership that collapsed overnight, leaving investors furious and confused. But what made people's blood run cold wasn't the financial loss itself. It was the language buried deep in the report. Words like unreachable, aggressive confrontation, and verbal threats were highlighted by users who claimed the document matched behavior patterns now being discussed online. And just when people thought the shock couldn't deepen, a second screenshot appeared, allegedly showing a chain of messages between Joe and a former associate. The messages looked tense, clipped, and unsettling. In one line that fans kept reposting over and over, the sender, believed to be Joe, wrote something that instantly triggered panic across social media. Handle it before it becomes a problem. Nobody knew exactly what it referred to, but the vagueness made it even more terrifying. Twitter Spaces lit up like wildfire. TikTok creators began posting rapid-fire breakdowns, analyzing timelines with red arrows and flashing graphics. Fans weren't just watching anymore, they were investigating. Old interviews were pulled from archives. Clips were slowed down, replayed, and analyzed frame by frame. And suddenly, tiny moments that once seemed harmless began to look suspicious. One viral clip showed Ashlee laughing nervously during a live stream months earlier. At the time, nobody noticed anything strange. But now, viewers claimed her smile looked forced, her voice slightly shaky, her eyes darting off camera as if someone else was standing just out of view. The comments under that clip turned into a digital battlefield. Some defended Joe fiercely, accusing critics of jealousy and harassment. Others weren't convinced. They demanded answers loud, relentless, and impossible to ignore. Then came the third leak, the one that truly sent shockwaves through the internet. It was an audio recording, short, distorted, but chillingly clear. The clip allegedly captured an argument between Joe and an unidentified woman. The voice sounded tense, sharp words cutting through heavy breathing. A loud thud echoed in the background, followed by what sounded like furniture scraping across the floor. But the most terrifying moment came at the end, when the male voice lowered into a whisper so cold it made listeners pause the video just to replay it again. "You think anyone will believe you?" That single sentence spread across every platform like wildfire. Reaction videos flooded timelines. Influencers debated whether the voice was authentic. Audio experts claimed the sound patterns matched Joe's public speeches. Others argued it was fabricated, a deepfake designed to destroy his reputation. But the more people listened, the harder it became to ignore how eerily familiar the tone sounded. Meanwhile, Ashlee's silence grew louder than any accusation. Hours turned into days, and still no posts appeared on her accounts. Fans began tracking the last time she had interacted with followers. They noticed the same unsettling pattern. Her activity had dropped sharply just days before the first leak surfaced. Even her closest supporters started asking questions they never thought they'd ask. Where was she? Why hadn't she addressed the rumors? And why did Joe continue posting business updates as if nothing catastrophic was happening around him? That detail alone ignited another wave of outrage. While speculation about his past flooded the internet, his accounts remained active, sharing polished financial commentary, reposting market predictions, and engaging with investors like the storm swirling around him didn't exist. To some viewers, it looked like confidence. To others, it looked like indifference. The kind of cold detachment that made their stomachs twist. Then, late one night, a supposed insider account appeared out of nowhere. The username had never been seen before, but the thread it posted was detailed. Terrifyingly detailed. According to this anonymous source, Joe's history wasn't just filled with failed ventures. It was filled with confrontations that allegedly ended in explosive meltdowns behind closed doors. The insider claimed to have witnessed arguments so intense that security had been called more than once. They described shattered glass, raised voices, and sudden disappearances from public events that were never explained to the media. But the most disturbing line in that thread made thousands. A viewer's freeze mid-dash scroll. It claimed that Ashlee herself had once confided fears to someone close to her. Fears that never made it to social media, never appeared in interviews, never surfaced until now. The post alleged that she had privately expressed concerns about Joe's temper. Concerns that were dismissed at the time as stress from business pressure. Within minutes, hashtags demanding answers began trending worldwide. Fans flooded comment sections, tagging friends, celebrities, and anyone connected to the couple. Some begged Ashlee to speak. Others demanded authorities investigate the allegations. The internet felt like it was holding its breath, waiting for one statement, one denial, one explanation that could calm the chaos. But instead of reassurance, another shocking development surfaced. Something far more unsettling than leaked messages or mysterious recordings. Because just as the online frenzy reached its peak, someone uncovered a forgotten police report buried deep in public records. And the date printed on that report matched a night Joe had always claimed he spent alone. And if that report was real, then the story everyone believed about his past was about to collapse into something far darker than anyone imagined. The moment that forgotten police report surfaced, the chaos didn't just continue, it intensified into something that felt completely uncontrollable. Screenshots of the report flooded timelines within seconds, with users zooming into every blurred line, trying to decode names, dates, locations that had somehow stayed hidden for years. What terrified people most wasn't just the existence of the report. It was the timestamp. The date matched perfectly with a night Joe had repeatedly described in old interviews as quiet, uneventful, and completely forgettable. But now, nothing about that night looked forgettable anymore. According to users analyzing the document, the report referenced a disturbance call, loud voices, aggressive shouting, and what witnesses described as objects being thrown. The location listed in the report allegedly matched an apartment complex tied to one of Joe's former business ventures. At first, defenders rushed to dismiss it as coincidence. They claimed anyone with influence attracts rumors. They insisted jealous rivals were stitching together half-truths to destroy him. Then the fourth leak dropped, and it changed everything. This time, it wasn't just text or audio. It was a short video clip, grainy and shaky, filmed from what looked like a hallway security camera. The clip showed a man pacing back and forth outside an apartment door late at night. His movements looked frantic, shoulders tense, hands clenched, pacing in tight circles like someone fighting to control their rage. The face wasn't perfectly clear, but viewers swore the body language matched. Joe's posture from public appearances, social media erupted again. Creators slowed the footage down frame by frame, comparing shoulder angles, walking patterns, and even the way the man tilted his head when he stopped pacing. Some claimed it was undeniable proof. Others warned people not to jump to conclusions. But one detail inside the video made everyone uneasy at one point. The man raised his hand and slammed it against the door so hard the camera visibly shook. And seconds later, the lights inside the apartment went dark. That tiny moment triggered thousands of new theories. Comment sections filled with speculation about what happened after the lights went out. Did someone open the door? Did an argument continue inside? Or did something worse unfold that never made it into official records? Meanwhile, Joe's online activity became even more unsettling. Instead of addressing the growing storm, he posted a carefully worded message about focusing on business resilience during difficult times. No mention of the accusations. No acknowledgement of the viral clips. Just calm, detached language that made readers feel like he was deliberately ignoring the chaos around him. Within minutes, replies flooded under his post, angry, desperate, demanding clarity. "Where is Ashlee?" One comment repeated over and over. That single question spread like wildfire, turning into the most repeated phrase across platforms. Because while the internet fought over evidence and theories, one terrifying fact remained unchanged. Ashlee still hadn't appeared online. No videos, no live streams, no casual updates. Just silence that felt heavier with every passing hour. Then came the fifth leak, the one insiders claimed would change how everyone sees this relationship forever. This was a collection of alleged text messages, said to be between Ashlee and a close friend. The messages looked emotional, panicked, raw. In one line that instantly went viral, the sender, believed to be Ashlee, wrote, "I feel like I'm walking on glass all the time." Another message followed just minutes later, reading, "If anything happens to me, people need to look deeper." Those words didn't just shock viewers, they terrified them. Within minutes, fan communities turned into emergency discussion hubs. Some begged authorities to investigate immediately. Others began digging through Ashlee's past posts, searching for hidden clues that might support the